Well, I remember just coming out of the recording studio and taking my CD, which I really hadn't had a chance to listen to after the sort of the mastering session with Bob Ludwig. It's very sort of intense, and you don't really get to hear it on just a beautiful sound system. And I took it to the Newport audio show, and somebody said, "Oh, you've got to listen to this in the Eclipse room." I had no idea what that meant, but I found it, and I took my album in and sat down and I listened to it. And I have to say, I've never heard my music sound better than it did that day. And I just sort of sat there thinking, wow, this is amazing. The difference between the rooms and the audio systems is huge. It sounds better in some rooms than others, but to this day, I think, yeah, that was probably my best experience at an audiophile show, being able to just sort of sit and listen to the album for the first time in that environment. The magic, you don't expect the magic. You know, there's different rooms I've gone into and sat down, and I've heard my music and I've thought, oh, that's dreadful. That's dreadful. I don't know whether it's the room, the setup, whether they haven't connected the speakers properly. I don't know what this is. Surely it can't be the gear. But, and it can't be my CD. But then you go into other rooms and you listen to it, and there's just, you almost just sit there, you know, with your mouth open thinking, this is magic. It sounds fantastic, you know, and it really does come down to a number of variables. But when you're in a room and that happens and you've got people around you that get it, that respond to that. I've actually gone into a room before and played something and then just sat there, and then the whole room starts clapping and you think, wow, you know, yeah, so it's like gathering an audience. Covering Philip Hanlon's room, because not only was it a welcoming environment, but the sound there was incredible, a lovely group of people, and just a great introduction for me to that audiophile world. Yeah, so well, it's Australian handmade piano, and I actually have the second one that was ever made, and it's in hue and pine, so I guess you can probably see the beautiful colour here in this image. But you would have listened to 600 Years in a Moment, recorded on SACD, and I recorded that album. In fact, I've recorded quite a few albums on the Stewart & Sons piano, and recently I've started recording here at home as well on this one, so it's very exciting to be able to use the extra keys, the incredible tuning system that gives you kind of no bend in the decay of a note, so that you get these amazing harmonics that just hang in the air. So really beautiful piano to play and to be able to write on. Blue Dream, yes, I recorded that with Will Ackerman, who is the founder of Windham Hill Records. That one's recorded on a Steinway, and that was kind of my first big album, really. Blue Dream, and then I had Bob Ludwig master that, and Bob said, "Fiona, I'd really like to hear this in 5.1 surround sound." So that was my introduction to the audiophile world, and I've become quite taken with the idea of people being able to listen to my music how I would like them to hear it, which is obviously a lot better than MP3, and certainly even better than CD. So yeah, so Blue Dream, that was probably the most pivotal album, because that was where I got my start. I've been very fortunate to work with some amazing musicians and amazing producers like Will Ackerman, Bob Ludwig, Cookie Marenko at Blue Coast. I don't take any of the credit for any of that. I've just been lucky enough to find and work with those people. But what I have really wanted to do all along is make sure that people can hear my music in the way that I would like it to be listened to. And that even goes to the piano. I'm a piano snob. I won't do a concert or a recording on a keyboard. It has to be a piano. It has to be a good piano. I want the best in sound. And I think that's what represents you. That's how people judge your music. That's how people judge what you do. So it is very important to me.